The National Desk, America's News, now.
The numbers are in. Record-breaking inflation reported across the country.
Nobody's seen inflation like we're seeing.
Right now on the National Desk, we ask everyday Americans about the impact they're seeing.
I mean, I don't know if customers will still be able to come in. Their rent and all of their food costs are going up.
And we ask, can Washington do anything to help? Or is it too little too late? Plus, the border battle escalates. Truckers blocking the southern border crossings, slowing down the American supply chain.
There might not be enough to meet the demand. Prices are going to go up.
From Texas all the way to Washington, we investigate who's to blame. And the subway shooting suspect now in custody.
We got him.
Arrested on the streets of New York. What we're learning about his criminal history and the social media warning signs that slip through the cracks. This is the National Desk, America's News Now. I'm Eugene Ramirez. On this weekend edition, we take a look at the big headlines of the week and a look ahead at what to expect. We're following 4 big stories for you this week. Inflation numbers just released, hitting a record high yet again. Texas Governor Greg Abbott playing hardball when it comes to border safety. The U.S. sending more funds to Ukraine with no end in sight to the invasion by Russian forces. And questions remain after a New York City subway attack. The suspect now facing some serious charges. We begin in New York, where the subway shooting suspect is being held without bail. He was arraigned on terrorism charges in federal court Thursday. Police say 62-year-old Frank James called police on himself before he was arrested in Manhattan. 10 people were shot in the subway incident Tuesday. If convicted, James faces up to life in prison. Meantime, the suspect's social media accounts in the spotlight and under scrutiny right now. The content of his channels now has officials asking, why didn't it raise flags sooner? Jay O'Brien here with that story.
Investigators looking into social media posts and videos of suspected New York subway shooter Frank James, arrested more than 24 hours after this attack. On social media, signs violence may have been brewing for weeks. The day before the attack, James making this startling admission on a video he posted to YouTube.
I wanted to kill people. I wanted to watch people die right in front of my face immediately.
James also telling his more than 400 subscribers he wanted to see more mass shootings and posting violent images to Facebook. Both accounts now removed by administrators. But the New York mayor saying those big tech companies should have stepped up before the unthinkable.
And there are clear correlations between what's being posted and what's being carried out in our streets, in this case and in many other cases.
In lone wolf attacks, there are frequently early warning signs online. The best known example, the Parkland shooting, where confessed killer Nicholas Cruz had a history of disturbing posts on Instagram with little intervention.
This is a consistent theme. It's not just in this case.
Tim Miller, a security consultant and former Secret Service agent, warning companies and even everyday users need to report disturbing posts to authorities before it's too late.
You don't want to be that person after an event that didn't call.
But free speech advocate Nadine Strawson warning it's a slippery slope, saying too much scrutiny online, particularly by the federal government, could lead to overreach.
It would be the worst of both worlds. It would stifle free speech, and it would not keep us safe from harm.
The biggest concern here, there are so many accounts out there, so many posts, and you just can't catch all of it. And that is exactly what federal law enforcement agencies have been warning about for years, these lone wolf-style attacks that slip through the cracks until the last minute. In Washington, I'm Jay O'Brien for the National Desk.
In Ukraine, Russia stepping up its missile strikes after losing its flagship in the Black Sea. U.S. officials have confirmed a Ukrainian strike sunk the Russian warship Moskva Thursday, something experts say is both a military and symbolic blow to Russia. The U.S. sending more aid to support Ukraine. Pentagon officials say the $800 million aid package will go towards strengthening defenses in eastern Ukraine, where Russia has refocused its attack now. The country accused of using banned weapons in the region, including cluster munitions and chemical substances.
This is a real concern. It's a concern that we had from before the aggression started.
This is a violation of international law. Russians are using these because they don't pay any attention to these international rules.
And the U.S. and United Kingdom say they are working to verify details. Now, the cost of everything from food to fuel to housing is rising at the fastest pace in 40 years. A government report out this week shows consumer prices jumped 8.5% in March. That's the fastest inflation rate since 1981. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, housing is 5% more expensive than this time last year, groceries 10% more, and gas 48% more expensive. So how are Americans across the country now coping? The National Desk chief political correspondent Scott Thuman traveled to southern Indiana to find out.
In New Albany, Indiana, on the banks of the Ohio River, Main Street getting funding for a facelift. The town's theater performing again after a 2-year pandemic pause, and more than 60 small businesses trying to bounce back on the back of President Biden's American Rescue Plan. But all of it suddenly getting more fragile. Just talk to folks at Lady Tron's restaurant.
I mean, a lot of things have went up. Chicken, beef, fish.
Summer Sig has held off on passing along those costs, but knows she can't stay open forever if she doesn't start charging more. And then...
I mean, I don't know if customers will still be able to come in because, you know, all of their things are going up. Their rent and all of their food costs are going up, so I don't know. Fingers crossed.
Her father, Wilfred, runs a family popcorn business. He's confident they'll survive, but says nothing's a certainty these days.
Nobody's been down this path. Nobody. Not that in my lifetime, anyway. Nobody's seen inflation like we're seeing.
What's unclear is how towns like this all across America can handle any more bad news in the future. Folks here telling me they worry every time they hear the word inflation. Tuesday, the government says it's gone up yet again from 7.9 to 8.5%, another 40-year high.
I'm not surprised. Obviously, we all go to get gas on a weekly basis, and the first couple weeks is shell shock, and then you kind of settle into, well, that's just kind of where we're at.
Around the corner at the Exchange Pub and Kitchen worries as new polling shows 2/3 of Americans are cutting back on entertainment and travel. Almost as many aren't driving as much, and a concerning 53% say they've had to curb what they spend on food and groceries.
As challenging as that piece is already, you know, you throw in this other curveball of, you know, pricing changes and having, issues being able to get certain products, it becomes even more challenging. Luckily, we have teams here that they're up for the challenge.
Only time, though, they say here, will tell. In New Albany, Indiana, Scott Thuman for the National Desk.
Meantime, the White House facing calls from all sides to deal with this rising inflation, some saying it should start with bringing down the national debt. Experts say more needs to be done, so if the economy faces a major slowdown or even a recession, the U.S. can afford to respond. But whether it can be done in time, that's what's still up in the air.
It cannot be done quickly, so certainly not in time for the next recession, if one will come in 2 years' time. A recession is not a done deal at all.
And when it comes to what businesses are up against, look at this, the Producer Price Index out Wednesday showing wholesalers are paying 11.2% more for goods than they did last March. That's the biggest gain on record. President Biden says his legislative agenda will help lower costs, and he's already taken action to ease prices now. Megan O'Halloran is with our fact-check team who took a deep dive into what more economists say we need to do to avoid serious trouble.
With rising inflation rates, you're feeling those high prices at every turn. We wanted to know if there's an immediate solution to provide relief for American families and their budgets. Our investigative producers have been digging into this. Janae, we'll start with you. What are the experts saying?
So former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers predicted the inflation we're experiencing and is now forecasting the possibility of a recession next year. Now, he said if we are fortunate enough to have rapid adjustments in commodity prices and other bottlenecks, we could potentially avoid a worse financial situation. Now, he says the releases from the reserve help a bit by keeping oil prices low. You'll remember, President Biden is releasing 1 million barrels of oil from our reserve every day for the next 6 months. And he's also allowing E15 gasoline to be sold this summer to save Americans money. Now, Summers says we also need to be looking at reduced taxes on imported goods, looking at immigration to address our labor shortage, and increasing the country's revenue by taxing corporations. But with a constant battle over immigration and some lawmakers' strong opposition to raising taxes, the last two might not be viable options.
Well, Connor, is there anything else the administration's done to ease the financial burden?
Well, they have. They're still holding off on student loan repayment, and Democrats are calling for the president to cancel it entirely. This week, Chuck Schumer said the White House seemed more open to canceling student loan debt than ever. But the president has said he'd rather this be done by Congress, and with a 50-50 split in the Senate, that is unlikely to happen. Supporters of this idea think it would boost the economy by adding up to $108 billion a year on average to GDP. But this idea has its critics. The Department of Education released data that shows canceling student loans would cost $1.6 trillion, impacting the national debt and taxpayers. The bottom line is the administration is cutting costs in several areas to ease financial burdens. However, none of them are a quick fix for inflation.
All right, the Fact Check team will continue to follow developments on these and other issues. You can also read this story with links on where these two found their information. It's all on our website. Just go to thenationaldesk.com.
And still ahead, did a gym teacher's job give her cancer?
You can't see it, you can't smell it. You just have no way of knowing it's there.
Next, the toxic chemical that could be in your local gym floor. And a different kind of scam, the romance warning coming from authorities in California. You're watching the National Desk, America's News Now. Catch us live weekdays from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time, and anytime online at thenationaldesk.com. We're back after this. This is the National Desk, America's News Now. Our team of nearly 4,000 local journalists bringing you headlines from coast to coast. While EMS funding is growing in Maine, Ohio families are scaling back on Easter dinner. We're taking the pulse of America, and we start with the rise in romance scams in California.
Romance or catfishing scams are when fraudsters build relationships with strangers online, pretending to be interested in dating. Then they start asking for money.
Seeing a lot of these older folks, they've emptied out their savings.
Americans lost $547 million to romance scams in 2021. That's up almost 80% from the year before.
You give the wrong person your information and they can do a lot of damage.
Imposter scams were by far the top type of fraud hitting people in Fresno County last year. Reported losses to social media scams in 2021 were 18 times what they were in 2017. The number of people who reported losing money grew 19 times higher in that same time span. The pandemic definitely made things worse when it comes to romance scams.
People spend a lot of time at home, work shut down, you get bored, more time on the internet, more time on social media. I definitely think that could be a factor.
This issue has been coming for a long time.
Waldoboro EMS provides ambulance service to Waldoboro, Friendship, and 2/3 of Jefferson. During the pandemic, the call volume kept rising while the number of EMTs kept dropping.
if we were going to be able to cover calls.
All three towns are now paying tens of thousands of dollars more to keep and hire EMTs to make sure they still have an ambulance service in the future.
Now offering a retirement program, they also considerably put the wages up so that we could be competitive.
Before the pandemic, Jefferson paid a total annual fee of $10,500 to Waldoboro EMS and Central Lincoln County Ambulance Service. Now, it's more than $170,000 a year.
Yes, it's a very large increase, but they do an excellent job.
Everybody's paying more, so Waldoboro, Friendship, and Jefferson have all taken some real hits.
The increased costs will likely mean property tax increases.
You know, if you need them, you want them to be there.
Inflation is changing how Ohioans eat and shop this holiday. Nicole Atkins is the executive director of With God's Grace.
It's not feasible to be able to buy the normal tradition Easter dinner.
Experts say inflation is driving consumers to seek the most value for their dollar.
So they're really looking at being able to save.
80% of Americans will celebrate the holiday and spend a collective $20.8 billion, down slightly from last year's forecast of $21.6 billion.
People are buying a little bit less of some of the things they bought before.
The first holiday since prices have skyrocketed.
The overall increase seems to be roughly going to be around $5,000 per family over the last year increase in expenses.
With God's Grace is here to help.
If you need food before the holidays, please come to one of our mobiles. Make sure you get a meal for your family.
Well, right now, a new warning from a PE teacher who believes her job may have caused her cancer. Rubberized flooring found in school gyms, daycares, even hospitals all across the country may contain a form of mercury. The National Desk's Lisa Fletcher spoke to the gym teacher who's now fighting to raise awareness about a hazard potentially hiding in plain sight.
Melissa McNally has been teaching elementary school physical education in New Jersey for 2 decades, serving as a longtime role model for healthy habits. So a shocking diagnosis in 2013 stopped her in her tracks.
At 36 years old, I was diagnosed with kidney cancer. I've never been a smoker. I've never done any form of drugs. I hardly even take Tylenol.
And she has no family history of cancer, leaving her and her doctors puzzled about the cause of her illness. 6 years later, she learned about a hidden hazard embedded in the rubberized floor of her school's gym. The flooring contained phenylmercuric acetate, a form of mercury used to help harden inexpensive rubberized floors.
You can't see it, you can't smell it. You just have no way of knowing it's there. Who would ever think?
As these floors wear down, we learned they can release neurotoxic mercury vapor, a possible carcinogen which can impact the lungs, nervous system, and kidneys.
I had a conversation about it with my doctor that we had found that, you know, this was present in our gymnasium. And before I could even finish my statement, my doctor's, jaw kind of hit the floor a bit, where he was just kind of like, wow.
This should remind us of the lead in water crisis in the country.
Alan Barkume is an environmental hygienist leading the charge on this issue in New Jersey, urging schools to test the floors and the air inside gyms to identify this potential hazard and get rid of it.
Once you discover that you've got that much mercury in your floor, you're now standing on a toxic waste site. It's a very jarring juxtaposition to consider that yesterday my kids were playing tag in this gym, and today it is completely sealed off, only inhabited by folks in hazmat suits, and considered a toxic waste site.
Intense remediation, like you see here, has only been completed at a handful of schools nationwide.
One of the biggest problems with these floors that we see is that schools either don't want to test in the first place, or once they do, they want to keep it a secret.
A Spotlight on America investigation found only a few states actively addressing this issue. New York passed a law that sets a limit for mercury vapor exposure and bans all new mercury flooring in schools. The Ohio Department of Health issued recommendations for schools to test their floors. In Melissa's home state of New Jersey, the health department provided a roadmap for assessing the risk. The elementary school where she works did rip out the flooring and replace it. But she knows that's just one gym in one place, and the hazard lurks in untold numbers of floors around the country.
It's going to affect me for the rest of my life, and I don't want it to affect anyone else for the rest of theirs. So, you know, whatever this costs, we have to find a way to do it.
For Spotlight on America, I'm Lisa Fletcher.
Ahead, Americans still masking up inside airports nationwide. Officials extending that mandate once again. We're asking officials, how long could it last? And buses of migrants dropped off in the nation's capital. A publicity stunt or a genuine attempt to address the border crisis? We're asking the former head of Customs and Border Patrol next. A bottleneck at the border now easing as Texas Governor Greg Abbott takes a stand on border security. Texas Governor Abbott announcing deals with 2 more Mexican governors that will allow his state to stop some vehicle inspections. Those inspections caused major backups for days, placing a major burden on an already struggling supply chain. At one point, Customs and Border officials said people were waiting more than 5 hours to get through those checkpoints. Meantime, across the country, the first migrants have arrived in Washington, D.C., bused there by Governor Abbott in protest of the Biden administration's decision to end Title 42 next month. Our team in D.C. spoke to several of those migrants, finding most were from Venezuela and some from Cuba and Mexico. Earlier this week, I asked the former acting commissioner of Customs and Border Protection, Mark Morgan, what he makes of Governor Abbott's actions.
I support his efforts right now, Eugene. The fact is, here's why, is that this administration inherited the most secure border we've seen in our lifetime, and literally overnight they dismantled it and handed it over the operational control of our southwest border to the cartels. And Governor Abbott has done more than any other governor in this nation to fill the void left by the complete abdication of what I believe is this administration's constitutional duty to protect our borders from threats we face from outside. You know, this is just one element of a multi-layered strategy under Operation Lone Star that began last March by this governor that's been successful on many fronts.
Refresher here on Title 42 for those who might not be familiar. It allows for asylum seekers to be turned away rather than processed under a public health emergency, in this case, COVID-19. The Biden administration plans to now lift it next month, but fearing a massive surge of migrants, there's a bipartisan effort to keep it in place. That includes Governor Abbott's opponent in the upcoming election, Beto O'Rourke. He said, quote, "It does not make sense to end this until there's a real plan and the capacity in place to handle those and address those that come over. I have yet to hear a plan from the Biden administration to address the dynamic we will have on the border once Title 42 ends." Now, I want to lean into your experience at CBP. What procedures should be in place before this ends?
Yeah, first of all, you know, Beto O'Rourke and others like Senators Kelly and Sinema from Arizona, it's kind of laughable that in 14 months they've remained silent, haven't said a thing about the catastrophic crisis, and now they want to get into it. Look, their statements are pure political. But Eugene, to answer your question directly, look, we could spend a lot of time on what needs to be done, but let me hit the highlights. First, Title 42 needs to remain in place. This administration needs to expand the use of the Remain in Mexico program along all 2,000 miles. Secretary Mayorkas needs to reverse his interior enforcement restrictions and start deporting those that remain in the country illegally. They need to end catch and release and expand the use of detention for those who have violated our law. If you do that, you'll see a significant decrease in illegal immigration and an increase in our ability to secure our border and protect American people.
Well, I also asked about the chances anything will change before Title 42 expires on May 23rd due to all the outcry. You can watch the whole interview. It's posted right now at thenationaldesk.com. Stunning accusations of bullying and abuse inside a school district.
He threw me out the window and I landed on the street. No car didn't run me over.
Parents saying the district is doing nothing to fix it. Coming up, our team's push to get some answers. Taking a look at the top trending stories on our website right now, a teenager is dead after he and his friends allegedly took turns putting on body armor and shooting at each other. 2 other teens are charged in connection to the case. A family in North Carolina has set up a GoFundMe to raise money for funeral expenses. Their 3-year-old was swept over a waterfall while on a family trip. And a mystery animal found in Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania, has been identified by DNA as 100% coyote. It was rescued when a woman found it injured on her property. These stories and more posted right now at thenationaldesk.com. Check them out. Now, looking ahead at a few stories that will soon be making some major headlines. A major American city putting its mask mandate back in place. People in Philadelphia will have to mask up once again starting Monday. Face coverings will be mandatory indoors, including at restaurants, schools, and government buildings. Then on Tuesday, the parents of the Michigan teen accused of killing 4 of his classmates are expected back in court. James and Jennifer Crumbly are both charged for involuntary manslaughter, accused of ignoring their son's concerning behavior. Their hearing starts at 10 a.m. Millions of dollars were given to the airline industry in COVID relief. But 2 years after that first check, those airlines still struggling. Our fact check team digging into flight delays. Where did all that money go?
The National Desk, America's News Now.
This is the National Desk, America's News Now. A quick look at our top stories. Inflation at 8.5% over the last year, the highest number seen in 40 years. Traffic backups at the southern border easing a bit as Mexican leaders agree to step up checks on their side of the border. And the suspect in the New York City subway shooting in custody, denied bail in federal court. In court documents, prosecutors saying Frank James carefully planned the attack. Health departments around the country watching closely now as COVID cases continue to rise. Take a look here. As of Friday, 29 states and Washington, D.C. are reporting an uptick in cases. Several of those states are in the Northeast, which through the pandemic has been first to get hit by a new surge. Now, officials have extended the mask mandate for public transportation as those cases spike. The National Desk's chief political correspondent, Scott Thuman, spoke to Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg about how long those mandates could now last.
Just a day after the CDC announced face masks will stay for at least another 3 weeks on planes, passengers anxious for the change and hoping to fast forward to a time when this announcement
And a reminder, you may briefly lift or lower your face covering while eating or drinking
is a distant memory. May 3rd, the new target to go maskless for the first time in 2 years on most flights. The question on many travelers' minds, when the mask mandate is finally lifted, how likely is it to come back?
Do we think that there's a chance that with the airline industry they go away and then come back again?
Well, look, we want to make sure there's predictability as much as possible. You hate to have something relaxed or loosened only to have to turn around and see it go right back in. But you have to follow the facts on the ground.
On the ground, what once was already gone back in some places. In Washington, D.C., students at college campuses like Georgetown are having to wear them again. Howard University going back to virtual learning. And just 6 weeks after ditching mask requirements inside, the city of Philadelphia saying they'll be back this month or proof of vaccination.
And I'm not a supporter of these mandates. What I'm a supporter of is educating and empowering the public so that they can make responsible decisions.
Polling indicates most Americans agree. Support for state and local governments requiring masks in public dipping below half of those surveyed, down from 50% last month and 67% at the beginning of the year. At the White House, attempts to project optimism and put COVID in the rear view, even if risky. But behind the scenes, concern.
It's true that we are seeing infection numbers rise in a few places. I think everything is still on the table. We don't want to prejudge this.
Just as more municipalities reconsidering what's reasonable and what's still up in the air. In Washington.
Thank you and enjoy your flight.
I'm Scott Thuman.
Meantime, the variant known as Stealth Omicron is now the dominant strain here in the United States. This week, I asked Dr. Jen Cottle for her take on where we are right now and what she's keeping an eye on as we move forward.
I think everybody's ready for this to be over, but COVID continues to tell us that it's not done with us yet. We are seeing some cases increase, including in the region where I live. I live in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia mask mandates are being put back into place starting Monday, even because of the cases increasing. So cases are increasing in a number of places, and that's not what we want to see. However, a metric that we are watching very closely, and perhaps maybe even more importantly, is if this will bear weight on the healthcare system, meaning will we also see an increase in hospitalizations, deaths, et cetera? Will there be a strain on the healthcare system? Right now, it seems like hospitalizations are not increasing, but that is a very important metric for us to keep an eye out for.
And on Wednesday, the White House announced a 2-week extension of its transportation mask mandate. Now, for one, the airlines aren't happy about it. What guides a decision like that? What should the public take away from the move, too? Should it make us more concerned because maybe they're seeing something that others aren't?
That's an interesting point. I'll start with my personal opinion. As someone who has some travel scheduled in the next coming weeks for conferences and things like that, I personally actually wish the mask mandate would last longer than 2 weeks. I mean, it's not saying that it won't, right? But it's been extended for 2 weeks, and my first thought was, well, why only 2 weeks? Why not longer? I certainly understand some of the arguments that the airlines are making, but I really do, and we do know that planes can be relatively safe environments in terms of ventilation and stuff like that. So I want to be very clear. But But this is the thing. COVID is not over in general. And I think the safest that we can be is ultimately the best. So, I'm hoping that these mask mandates on transportation last for just a little bit longer.
Well, I know many people are hoping it's just the 2 weeks, but you may be right. Maybe we're going to continue to see extensions on that. You mentioned Philadelphia, where you're at just a bit ago, bringing back the indoor mask mandate. Should we expect to see that in other cities across America? We have this COVID fatigue happening right now. People just don't want to do this anymore. How do we handle this?
Yeah, I'm not sure that we're going to see this in cities throughout the country. I mean, the reason why I say that simply is because of what we've seen during the pandemic, right? Even during the pandemic, in many places throughout the country where cases were high at different phases, it didn't necessarily prompt the region, the city, the state, et cetera, to put in sort of mask mandates or things like that. So we saw inconsistency in terms of what states and regions did at different heights and different peaks during this pandemic. So that's why I say I'm not sure that we'll see this as a widespread practice. I'm grateful for it. Obviously, I don't want to go back to wearing masks. I'm no different than anyone else. I'd rather not have to wear them. But if cases are increasing, I'd rather us get ahead of it. We know that masks work, and I think that's an appropriate measure.
And we also asked Dr. Cottle about this week's news that Pfizer plans to submit a booster shot for kids aged 5 to 11 for approval. That full interview posted right now at thenationaldesk.com. Both the Trump and Biden administrations gave airlines bailout money to keep the nation's planes in the sky during the pandemic. But 2 years after the pandemic started, why are there still so many flight delays? Megan O'Halloran with our fact-check team breaking down the research.
Frustration is growing as Americans face thousands of flight delays and cancellations over the last few weeks. And with the Easter holiday travel ramping up, our investigative producers, they've been digging into the labor shortage that's causing you headaches. Connor, we'll start with you. Why is the airline industry having such a hard time attracting employees?
Well, the CEO of American Airlines says this is because of the risk of COVID and also unruly passengers. According to the Washington Post, disruptive behavior has reached an all-time high in recent years, often involving passengers who refuse to wear a mask. And this year, there have been over 1,100 reports of unruly passengers, with 744 of those being related to the federal mask mandate, which was just extended until May 3rd. The airline industry is pushing the government to drop the mandate, and last month, CEOs of United, Delta, and Southwest Airlines wrote a letter to the White House, urging the president to lift the departure testing requirements and the federal mask mandate.
All right, and Janae, you actually learned that there are some training roadblocks that folks are facing if they want to get into the industry.
You're exactly right. Airline executives say they have had trouble hiring pilots and flight attendants. They say it costs $150,000 for the required training it takes to be a pilot, which the AP reports is not typically covered by federal student loans. So it's clear this career path is out of reach for many. And pilots who are returning from being off during the COVID-19 pandemic can't do so quickly because they have to go through a recertification process to get back in the cockpit. Additionally, planes that were not being used have to be reactivated and brought up to safety standards. Now, aviation experts say as the industry adapts and newer employees go through training, things should improve over time.
All right, our fact check team will continue to follow developments on these and other issues. You can also read this story with links on where the team found their information. We have all of that posted for you right now at thenationaldesk.com.
A father and son's car goes off a cliff. Rescue teams making a dramatic save.
They had the ability to be in the right place at the right time.
Just ahead, see the rescue some are calling a miracle. And from gas to groceries, the numbers confirm everything is more expensive. Our Capitol Hill team breaking down how Washington's reacting. The National Desk team of reporters bringing you the headlines coast to coast. We're taking the pulse of America, and we start in California, where a daring rescue saved the lives of a father and son whose car fell off a cliff.
The California Highway Patrol says around 11 o'clock Monday morning, Scott Anderson, a man from Rancho Cordova, was driving with his 11-year-old. The road was wet and slippery, and the CHP says Anderson lost control of his Toyota 4Runner as he tried to drive through a curve. The SUV tumbled off a cliff and settled at the bottom of an embankment. About 45 minutes later, a passing CAL FIRE employee noticed a broken mile marker sign and pulled over to take a look.
I say miracle because they had the ability to be in the right place at the right time to see the disturbance.
The CHP says the fact that the family is alive today isn't just a miracle. It's thanks to their decision to buckle up.
Had a significant amount of fatalities, an increase in our fatalities here in the Central Valley over the last year, and almost half of them are as a result of people who are not properly restrained.
The Mariposa County Sheriff's Office, CAL FIRE, and Mercy Ambulance sent teams down for a difficult, daring, and dangerous rescue. The whole process took almost 5.5 hours.
In Washington, businesses in Seattle are offering de-escalation training for employees as crime spikes in the city. The Downtown Seattle Association has gone from teaching 1 class a month to 12 classes a month. In those classes, employees learn skills like situational awareness and how to recognize suspicious behaviors.
There's just a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of businesses, they definitely want to know that their employees are comfortable and feel safe.
According to a report by the Seattle Times, violent crime is up 32% in the city. In New York, the state launched a new campaign to combat distracted driving in work zones. During launch day, 33 tickets were issued for distracted driving. According to New York law, distracted drivers can be fined, lose their license, they can even be arrested.
They should be focusing on what they need to do, and that's focusing on driving skills, paying attention to conditions, paying attention to also the other drivers. And we're still seeing an increase in people having the phone in their hand.
Distracted driving is the leading cause of car crashes in the country. Still to come, dozens of accusations of violence and fighting, both inside and outside the classroom. Why won't school leaders talk about it? Coming up, our team's relentless push for answers. First, how will record inflation numbers affect poll numbers? Our team in Washington talking about the hot topics on Capitol Hill right after this. You're watching the National Desk, America's News Now. Catch us live weekdays from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 10 p.m. till midnight Eastern Time.
Welcome back to TND. Our Washington Bureau's correspondents, producers, videographers, and editors are covering Capitol Hill and D.C. every day to report on the important issues facing the country and how they impact you. Two of our correspondents, Scott Thuman and Atra El-Nashar, they're here with us to share their reporting and their insights. Scott, you traveled to Indiana this week to take the pulse of how folks there are coping with skyrocketing inflation. What did you learn?
Well, I heard a lot of frustration. We talked with people in a couple of small areas, one of them being Hell City, Indiana, another right along the Ohio River, where people were struggling with, as you can imagine, the numbers that we're seeing in those inflationary figures that keep coming out. But the real life impact was talking, for example, to a woman who runs a diner. She said everything has gone up on her end, where you're trying to buy supplies for chicken, beef, oil to cook in, the containers to put the food in. All that's costing more. She hasn't passed along those costs to her customers yet because she didn't want to raise those menu prices, but says inevitably she's going to have to or risk going out of business. I talked to a forklift salesman who said he's telling people he can't get them in for 2 years. And so then people cancel orders. You can see the trickle-down effect there. There's some new polling out, Steve, that shows that about 66% of people have said that they are now cutting back on what they spend for travel, for holidays, vacations. Just about the same amount of people aren't driving as much to try and save gas money. And then finally, you've got about 53% of people who say they're cutting back on what they spend on food. And that becomes even more concerning. So this is something that we saw in Indiana, but of course is nationwide. And a lot of people just pointing the finger at government.
Yeah, and that new inflation data showing prices up 8.5% compared to last year. Atra, how's Washington reacting to that?
Yeah, so that was the number a lot of people unfortunately forecasted, and it did come true. Naturally, you're seeing Republicans point fingers at the White House, at Democrats, accusing them of pumping too much stimulus into the economy last year. And then the White House and Democrats are trying to focus on the good parts, the strong parts of the economy, low unemployment, growing GDP. And when they do talk about inflation, pointing to factors that are outside the White House's control, or anyone's control really in the United States, things like Russia's war in Ukraine, things like COVID interruptions that we're seeing in China. But for Americans, it is getting tougher every week. On Thursday, Freddie Mac announced that the average rate for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage is 5%, and that's the highest it's been since 2011. This week, we saw the producer price index actually hit a record, meaning businesses are paying the most they've ever paid for wholesale goods. But we just heard, Scott, you were just talking about how people are cutting back. Bank of America put out a really interesting report this week, kind of disputing that. They say, we don't see all this doom and gloom. They said in the first 8 days of April, debit and credit spending was up 15% compared to the same time last year. Now, people might still be buying the same amount of things or fewer items, but it's costing them more. That could add up to more dollars being spent.
And all this negative economic data, plus growing worries about a potential recession. Scott, how is this all playing out in this year's congressional midterm races?
Well, it's going to be a big one. And I saw a lot of campaign ads that were already being run out there. And one of them was saying, we're going to get this economy in order, vote for us. But, we also saw this administration, the Biden administration, kind of fan out in the past week, and they're going to do so throughout the month, where the president was in Iowa. You had Pete Buttigieg, the Department of Transportation Secretary. He was in Indiana. We caught up with him for some one-on-one time, because what they're trying to do is showcase how this infrastructure spending, a $1 trillion infrastructure law that was passed with some bipartisan support, is actually going to go into effect in real time now. Your shovel-ready jobs are going to a very tiny port where, because they can't offload iron if the water is too high, the pier doesn't work anymore. So it's a $1.6 million investment to go ahead and build a new one so that they can raise productivity 60%. So they think that if they showcase enough of these projects, they can say to voters, don't lose faith in us just yet. Give Democrats more time. We can actually make your life better.
Yeah, and those polls, though, showing Americans pointing fingers at President Biden for the economy and inflation. Chief Political Correspondent Scott Thuman, National Correspondent Atra El-Nashar. Thank you. Eugene, back to you.
Great insight from our Capitol Hill team. Coming up, children attacked at school or on the bus, no one stepping in or even calling for help.
They just pull out their phones and start recording. I find that frightening.
The problems facing parents in one Maryland school district. We're back in 90 seconds. Out of control fighting, repeated bullying, a student thrown out of a school bus window. For more than 5 years, our investigative team in Baltimore, Maryland has been exposing serious violence in area schools. The National Desk's Chris Pabst has been trying to speak to the superintendent about this issue, but has been turned down time and time again.
The Baltimore County School Board meets here twice a month to make decisions about the 24th largest school system in America. Superintendent Dr. Darrell Williams, who earns about $300,000 a year, is expected to attend those meetings.
So we've been trying to get a hold of you for weeks.
For years, Project Baltimore has tried to speak with Dr. Williams about issues in his district.
Taxpayers, sir.
But instead of sitting down with us, his office emails statements that don't always answer our questions. So we went to the school board meeting to speak with the superintendent on behalf of parents who say violence is out of control. We arrived at 3 p.m. and we waited.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
8 minutes later, we were approached by the school system spokesperson who told us Dr. Williams was unavailable. He would not discuss student safety, and neither would she.
You are the spokesperson for Baltimore County Schools, right? Can we ask you a couple questions about the school violence?
Our statement is has been provided to you.
That statement addresses a serious fight caught on camera on a Baltimore County school bus, which ended with one student bleeding.
Baltimore County 911.
And a call to 911.
Said he had a fight on the bus, and he said that one of the students has a cut in the back of his head, and we want to get him checked out.
It's just the most recent incident in a number of Project Baltimore reports highlighting concerns about violence.
Chill.
The fight videos surfacing on social media.
I think the most frightening part, though, is that these kids are so desensitized to the fighting because they see it so often that instead of helping a friend or screaming for help, they just pull out their phones and start recording. I find that frightening.
Baltimore County Schools has acknowledged an uptick in disruptive behaviors following the return to in-person learning. But Project Baltimore found the violence has been increasing for years, even before the pandemic. In 2019, the year before COVID hit, Baltimore County Schools reported more than 4,500 acts of violence in the classroom, an increase of 56% from 2015.
He threw me out the window and I landed on the street. No car didn't run me over.
In 2019, we spoke with a 6-year-old student from Featherbed Lane Elementary who said he was thrown out of a moving school bus. We've interviewed concerned parents at Seneca Elementary School, Perry Hall Middle School, Parkville Middle School. Through all of it, Dr. Williams has refused to sit down with us, even though on his first day as superintendent, July 1st, 2019, during his first and only interview with Project Baltimore, he said this.
As far as the media is concerned, you will make yourself available.
I will make myself available. I'll make sure our cabinet members, if I'm not, that we have a spokesperson on behalf of the superintendent.
Right now! So when the school bus fight happened and the mothers of both boys involved told us the school downplayed the violence, ignored their repeated pleas for help, we felt they deserved answers from the top.
Do you want the superintendent to publicly address this issue?
Oh, I definitely want the superintendent to publicly address this issue.
Which is why we went to this board meeting for these mothers and the many other parents who say schools are not safe.
Okay, we're going to wait here for Dr. Williams to come to the school board meeting. Okay. And I know that he normally uses this door, so we'll just wait here, and whenever he comes down, he comes down.
All right, thank you.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
We waited for Dr. Williams at that door for an hour and a half. Shortly before the meeting began, we watched a county vehicle, this black SUV, arrive outside his office at 4:35 p.m. 18 minutes later, the SUV, usually used for the superintendent, came down the hill to where we were waiting. But Dr. Williams was not inside.
Dr. Williams?
Hey, all right, good morning.
Hi, my name is Ray with Fox 45 News Project Baltimore.
While this county SUV was still sitting outside his office, in what appears to be a move to avoid our cameras, he entered through the public entrance on the opposite side of the building, where a Project Baltimore producer was waiting.
My coworker Chris is at the other door where you normally come in at. Would you have a moment to speak with him?
Dr. Williams did not speak with us that evening. We could not ask him about discipline or if violence is being downplayed. After he entered the meeting, our cameras did not have permission to be inside. The following day, parents received yet another written statement, an email about school violence.
We have posted that statement on our website, foxbaltimore.com, if you would like to read it. And Project Baltimore will continue to try to get answers from Dr. Williams about the ongoing and increasing violence in his school system. I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore.
And that's it for this weekend edition of the National Desk, America's News Now. Don't forget you can catch us live from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Check your local listings. You can also watch us online and catch up with the latest headlines. Visit us at thenationaldesk.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Eugene Ramirez. Have a great rest of your weekend.